And welcome to This Is Now. The Trump administration is issuing reduction in force notices to various agencies, including the Treasury, Education, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services departments. The development comes as the federal government shutdown nears a third week, with Congress still deadlocked over a funding plan. Jared Hill has more from New York.
Shame on the Democrats for doing this to the American people.
As congressional lawmakers continue to trade blame over the government shutdown,
Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They decided to shut the government down.
President Trump's budget chief posted an ominous message about layoffs Friday, writing reductions in the federal workforce have now begun.
The Democrats have caused this problem.
Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson faced tough questions yesterday from C-SPAN viewers, including a military family expecting to miss a paycheck come October 15th.
You could be the one that could say military's getting paid.
If we did another a vote on the floor to pay troops, it's not a lawmaking exercise because Chuck Schumer is going to hold that up in the Senate.
SNAP and WIC recipients nationwide are set to feel the pinch within weeks due to a pause in nutrition benefits.
It could have very significant impacts on those families and the health of their children.
The impasse has already put a strain on the TSA and federal air traffic control system, with an increase in sick-outs. Grateful travelers thank some who are working.
Blessings to all the TSA workers. We told them that, to hang in there and hopefully in time things will change.
Federal aviation officials say most flights are still leaving on time this holiday weekend, adding that the vast majority of air traffic controllers are still on the job. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Federal workers will start noticing impacts to their pay starting today. For many, paychecks will be smaller, and checks received today will be the last checks until Congress agrees on a spending package for the current fiscal year. It gets worse next week as military personnel will miss their first paychecks on October 15th. Starting November 1st, Hawaii SNAP recipients who are able-bodied adults will face new work requirements under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The rules now apply to adults 18 to 64, including those with kids 14 and older, veterans, youth leaving foster care, and people experiencing homelessness. To stay eligible, they must work, train, or volunteer at a nonprofit at least 20 hours a week. If they don't, benefits are limited to 3 months and reapplying is blocked until requirements are met. DHS and SNAP employment and training programs can help participants stay on track. 7 people have been displaced from their home after a 2-alarm fire in Aiea. HFD crews were called out to the Naulu Apartments building on Kalaloa Street at about 5:30 last night. The fire was in a 12th floor unit where firefighters found combustible material burning on a kitchen stove. They were able to put it out in about half an hour. Nobody was injured, but the Red Cross was called to help those displaced. The 25-story Naulu building just opened to residents in late August. Well, don't dispose of propane tanks in the trash. That's the reminder from the city after a massive fire at the H power plant in Kapolei on Wednesday. The inferno ignited after a propane tank exploded inside a shredder at the waste processing facility in Campbell Industrial Park. No one was hurt, but there was extensive damage, and officials say it could have been worse.
And so facilities like this have completely burned down, and then that's really bad. The most recent one really was in Miami. In 2023, it burned down a facility about twice this size, took out the entire thing, and they're in the process of rebuilding it, and that's a $1.5 billion project to rebuild it.
Propane tanks and other explosive or flammable objects should be disposed of at the city's 7 convenience centers. We've posted a list of their locations and hours on our website, and trash collection on Oahu isn't impacted. The city aims to have H-Power running at full capacity by Monday. New at noon, we have an update on the tragic death of 2 women whose bodies were recovered from a downed banyan tree in Hilo back in July. Hawaii Island police detectives have identified the second victim as 48-year-old Michelle Noilani Comer of Kea'au. Police were able to positively identify her by DNA comparison. The other victim was previously identified as 35-year-old Tricia Almazan, also from Kea'au. Anyone with information about this incident is asked to contact the number on your screen. Hawaii continues to see a spike in injuries related to e-bike accidents, and doctors are calling it an epidemic. Ben Gutierrez has new numbers on a dramatic rise in ER visits.
The sales of e-bikes have been rising, but so have the injuries, and doctors say those injuries have become more severe.
It's not the ride, it's the rider that makes a difference.
Pediatric orthopedic surgeon Byron Izuka says it's become a daily occurrence. Young riders in bad shape showing up at Shriners Children's Hospital, Hawaii.
Whether it's a traumatic brain injury, a musculoskeletal injury like a break or a strain, a dislocation, those type of things, they're all increasing across the board.
The latest national data from the Consumer Product Safety Commission shows injuries from micromobility devices, such as e-bikes and scooters, jumped 21% from 2021 to 2022, and 36% of injuries from 2017 to 2022 were in children 14 years and younger.
The parents feel that they're old enough and mature enough, responsible enough to have a bike like this. But the problem is, we know, of course, that most or many teenagers are not responsible, mature enough for something like this.
HPD has been cracking down on illegal e-wheels. Last week in West Oahu, officers arrested 4 people, issued 31 citations, and recovered 5 e-dirt bikes, which aren't street legal. Many riders don't seem to know the law. E-dirt bikes are not allowed on streets, and you have to be at least 15 years old to ride a regular e-bike. Also,
in Honolulu County, if you're under 18 years of age and you're on an e-bike, you gotta wear a helmet. It's required now by law, but generally in all of Hawaii, if you're on a bicycle and you're under 16 years of age, you gotta wear a helmet.
So a fall on the head can be, I get up with my helmet, dust myself off, and I've got a headache, or I can fall and hit my head, and that could be like the last thing that ever happens to me.
Hawaii Bicycling League has been holding free workshops for riders. Dr. Izuka believes education is the best way to prevent injuries and deaths.
There's a lot can do to make them safe, the most of which is the rider's behavior and understanding that what they're riding has danger.
Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Honolulu's interim police chief reports a 20% rise in assaults on officers this year compared to the same time last year. He says most happened during routine calls for domestic incidents, intoxication, and mental health issues. Assaulting an officer is a felony. HPD says it's responding by expanding training and working more with mental health experts. Well, we're hearing for the first time from Maui's new assistant chief of police, who is now the highest ranking woman in MPD history. Our Chelsea Davis sat down with the new AC.
You could find Joy Medeiros helping the youth.
Let's go. Push, 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 push.
Or setting aside one-on-one time to train police recruits. Or giving one of her empowering speeches.
In an era where criticism overflows and negativity is plentiful, your support is rejuvenating and inspiring and necessary.
She is the hardest working officer I've ever met. Everything she does with excellence.
You will now find her as Maui County's newest Assistant Chief of Police, the highest ranking woman in the Maui Police Department's history.
I'm honored and I am grateful for the opportunity to serve as an Assistant Chief. It's both exciting but humbling, to take on this level of responsibility. And I'm just really looking forward to supporting our officers, our community, as we continue to move the department forward.
Medeiros started her career in 2005 as a Wailuku patrol officer. She was honored as Maui County's Officer of the Year in 2010 and recognized as the Maui Police Department's Woman of Excellence in 2018.
I'm proud to represent progress, and I hope I can continue to pave the way for others that aspire to serve. However, I remind myself that leadership, it's a privilege, and it's one that is built on trust, integrity, and accountability.
Moniz, head of the Maui Police Commission, says her latest milestone marks a new day for Maui County.
We've seen more women being promoted. We had the first ever female police chief of staff. Chris Bonacorsi has been the chief of staff since the chief started. We have a female PIO. We have women in leadership on Molokai. We've got Jamie Winfrey.
She says that could be used as a recruiting tool as the department strives to fill 85 vacant sworn positions. The new AC has this message for all the females watching.
Leadership isn't about gender. From patrol to command, there's a place for women in every part of our profession, and all professions for that matter. Be confident, be inquisitive, be brave enough to take your place in spaces where others haven't gone.
Reporting in Wailuku, I'm Chelsea Davis for Hawaii News Now.
The second segment of Skyline Rail opens next week. Daryl Huff shows us how first-time long-distance commuters could get to work and home faster.
It only adds a little more than 5 miles and 4 stations to the Skyline Guideway, but city officials have high hopes for what the second segment will bring to the project.
For me, this is really the ultimate in providing quality of life opportunities, economically, time-wise. It's just going to lend a whole different dynamic.
As you leave the old endpoint at the stadium station, that is, the main connector to Pearl Harbor is only a few minutes away. Then it's a slow-motion roller coaster ride over the freeway and into the airport stop, which the city urges potential travelers to check out in advance on the free ride weekend.
Check out that airport station. Figure out how it connects to the airlines that you use so that when you have a whole bunch of suitcases and kids in tow, you know exactly how to get to and from the station.
The segment will be available to fare-paying riders with Holo cards on Thursday the 16th and Friday the 17th. The free ride days are Saturday and Sunday the 18th and 19th. The hours from 4 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. are expanding to account for worker and airline flight schedules. They expect commuters will use the free weekend to decide if rail can now work for them.
This is a great opportunity for our residents to hop on Skyline and actually do some pre-navigation of the system.
We haven't talked much about this station, Ahua and Lagoon Drive, but it could be a major hub for commuters because here the city says they'll be able to catch Zoom routes, bus routes that will take them quickly to the university and downtown, and that could be a game changer.
The U line to UH and the A line to downtown will go through Mapunapuna to the freeway. Those in another limited stop route to Waikiki promise a ride from Kapolei to those key destinations in about an hour.
In an hour. Yeah, it's that certainty. That's what this is really good.
That is our hope. And you know, with these rapid buses, this A line, U line, and W line we're putting in, we really want to prioritize speed, efficiency, and frequency.
The mayor points out that even if that commute might not be shorter than average, it will be more predictable, especially going home at night.
Because anybody that's living out here on the west side has resigned themselves to the challenges of what H1 represents, and that is you never know how long it's going to take.
Instructions on combined rail and bus routes are already posted on the bus website. Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
Aloha on this Friday. The light winds will persist through the weekend. We are expecting spotty showers mainly late in the day. However, there is this batch of moisture moving up from the south, so there's a chance that we could see some rain from it, especially for us here on Oahu, but there's also a chance that it dissipates. But be ready for that possibility that we could see a few more showers, maybe some thunderstorms out over the ocean. Otherwise, we got that light wind weather pattern with partly sunny skies today. Clouds will build in the afternoon, and they will spawn some spotty showers, but they won't be widespread.
Phase 1 of President Trump's Israel-Hamas peace plan goes into effect. I'm Erica Brown with more on the deal and the expected timetable for releasing hostages.
And calling all gardeners, details on a community event this weekend centered on native plants. Welcome back. Israel and Hamas have begun the first phase of a peace deal in Gaza. This comes as President Trump is preparing a trip to the region this weekend. Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
Israeli forces began withdrawing its troops from parts of Gaza early Friday, starting a 72-hour clock for Hamas to release all of the remaining Israeli hostages. In Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, prayers of hope and thanksgiving were shared for the peace deal and return of the hostages. Louis Har was captured by Hamas and freed in February of 2024. He says he still has doubts other hostages will be released.
When we see the people here in Israel, I believe, not before.
In Gaza City, Palestinian refugees driven out by the war flooded back. This woman says she's trying to find her home, but doesn't recognize anything because it's all rubble. President Trump is planning to travel to the Middle East to attend the signing of the deal in Egypt. He also plans to be in Israel to address Israel's parliament and be on hand for the release of hostages.
The hostages will be coming back Monday or Tuesday. I'll probably be there. I hope to be there, and we're planning on leaving sometime Sunday, and I look forward to it.
The U.S. military will also help to stabilize Gaza with 200 service members working at a coordination center in Israel to monitor the ceasefire and help the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
And give you a live look from our tower cam right now on this Aloha Friday. Your full weekend forecast in 2 minutes.
First Alert Weather with Guy Hug.
How's it on this Aloha Friday? We're going to have fairly nice conditions through the weekend. With the light winds, however, we could see some spotty afternoon downpours. We're also tracking this area of moisture slowly moving up towards the islands, and we could see a few more showers for Oahu mainly, but it could also dissipate. So be ready for the possibility for more showers, mainly for us here on Oahu, especially along the south and west sides. In addition to that, because the winds will run light, we'll get afternoon clouds building up like they have been for the last several days. And that cloud buildup could spawn a few spotty showers late in the day into the early evening. For the most part, we won't see a lot of rain unless that area of moisture comes up over Oahu. Look for more clouds. So again, partly sunny skies, cloudy in the afternoon with some spotty showers, but not widespread. Late in the day into the early evening, clearing in the overnight hours. Not a lot of surf to speak of. We still have some decent waves up in the country, really small everywhere else, but heads up. We got a big swell shaping up for Sunday into Monday, which will likely likely trigger a high surf alert. That's the first alert there for out in the ocean. And we got a smaller east swell coming up from Tropical Cyclone Priscilla, and that one is due late Saturday. So again, we're not going to see a whole lot of rain for the next couple of days going into the weekend, but there will be, maybe some afternoon pop-up showers, and then the rain chances really increase starting on Monday all the way through Thursday. We're going to see a disturbance drop in. Most of the scattered showers will favor windward areas in the overnight and early morning hours. This does not represent a lot of rain for leeward sides, and again, the rain will be very beneficial, helping with the drought and helping with the water supply.
Thank you, Guy. The Daniel K. Inouye International Airport is ahead of schedule when it comes to reducing airport-controlled carbon emissions. The Hawaii Department of Transportation says the airport already exceeded its 2030 goal twice, cutting per passenger emissions by 50% from 2009 levels 2 years in a row. DOT says it did this by making energy-efficient upgrades and switching to electric vehicles. The airport has a Level 3 airport carbon accreditation designation, showing it meets global standards on sustainability. Well, a win-win situation in Kalihi this weekend. You can do your part in helping native plants while enjoying a tasty beverage. Billy V explains from Honolulu Beer Works.
Good morning to you. Thank you very much. We are here once again, Honolulu Beer Works, 1632 Hart Street. That's just off of Nimitz Highway. Occasionally you might hear the planes overhead as we're close to the airport. We are here. Sips for Seedlings is happening tomorrow from noon to 5 p.m. So we're talking store with some of the partners in this endeavor. As a matter of fact, this morning we're joined by folks from the the University of Hawaii at Manoa, Harold L. Lyon Arboretum. And so we are talking story with this morning Don Drake, who's the interim director, and Raydell Van Vossen, who's the educational manager. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to start with you, Don. Tell us what the Lyon Arboretum is for those that do not know.
Okay. The Arboretum is an organized research unit of UH Manoa, and the mission is to inspire and cultivate the conservation of tropical plant biodiversity and connect it to the culture of Hawaii through education and research.
I can only imagine that your job gets tougher and tougher as time goes by because there's more of the plant life that needs our attention.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of plants in Hawaii that need attention from the conservation perspective, but Lyon has a really excellent staff, and we work with a lot of different state and federal agencies and NGOs to do our best to maintain some of the plants in a safe environment there until they can be put back out into the wild.
Raydell is over here, and she's got some. It's like a science project. Tell me what this is.
So these are samples from our HRPP, or Hawaiian Rare Plant Program, micropropagation tissue culture lab. And what you're seeing are some of the plants that we have there. And these plants, many of them are critically endangered, which means there's 50 or fewer left in the wild. And in fact, I believe one of these, I can't see right now, it's extinct in the wild. So we're keeping it alive with the hopes that we can one day, fix the environment and, it goes back to where it belongs.
Fix the environment. That's a key thing right there. What I want to do is I want to bring your attention down to these cans right over here and show you the designs because they have some of the plants on them that are endangered. Real quickly, how many seedlings do you have in different plants?
We've got over 35 million seeds stored in a seed bank of hundreds of native species and about, I think, 40,000 or so plants that are growing in tissue culture like the ones in those tubes there.
All right, so if you want to help out the effort, Sips for Seedlings is happening tomorrow noon to 5 here on Hart Street at Honolulu Beer Works. More information, we'll put it on our website at hawaiinews.com. Let's get you back into the studio.
Mahalo, Billy. Well, before the Ironman World Championship takes over West Hawaii this weekend, highlights from a lighthearted race through the streets of Kona. That's after the break. Welcome back. What was once a protest against wearing Speedos in inappropriate places has turned into something loved by the community. This was the scene in West Hawaii yesterday as the Underpants Run has become a pre-race icebreaker to the Iron Man. The Women's World Championship begins tomorrow morning. The skimpy attired run has raised over $400,000 for race community give back through registration and merchandise donations over the years. Want to say best of luck to all the competitors involved, and also good luck to all the competitors and crews and paddlers for the Molokai Ihoi that is running this weekend as well, the crossing of the Kaiwi Channel. Well, that does it for us on This Is Now. Happy Aloha Friday. Stay with us online. See you again on air, first at 4. Aloha.